Hello, TuneLark. My name is Jonathan Dudzik, and this is my video submission for the 15-hour-a-week contractor full stack engineer job that you have posted on Upwork. I'm very happy to apply, and thank you for taking the time to watch the video. So let me start off by telling you why I find this an interesting job to apply for. So I have one of my best friends is a music teacher, and one of his constant difficulties is finding students. He's locally based, and he looks for students, face-to-face students. And so, looking at TuneLark, I see that it makes it easy for professional instructors like him to find students online virtually. And so I think for me, that's kind of how I view your product already, is that there's an opportunity there for music teachers. I will say I also am a music lover. I play guitar and I have for many years. I'm nowhere near professional level, but I understand what it takes to learn music. The other thing I'll say about the job and why I want to apply for it is the tech stack. So I love working with Rails. I've been working with Rails for about 4 years. I love working with JavaScript. I've got 8 years or 9 years of JavaScript experience, and I love the Stripe API. So you mentioned Stripe and SendGrid. I've worked with both of those APIs, but I really love Stripe. I think that they are one of the best APIs as far as documentation is concerned. Like, I never have to worry about really trying to research a question that I have with the Stripe API because I know their documentation is going to be sufficient. So I love the tech stack that you guys are working with, React. In particular, I've worked with React and Vue, so I'm equally comfortable with both. It looks like you guys use React, so that's awesome. Really like the tech stack. As far as tools, so to give you some details about how I use Copilot, there are some times where I want a general answer. I've got a block of code that I'm looking at. I know what's capable, what the code can do and what I'm capable of doing. But maybe I want some options on how to do it. So getting really into the nitty gritty of give me some options. And so these are more general answers. And so I'll type in the prompt, I'll give an example. The nice thing with Copilot compared to using ChatGPT is that Copilot already has my file that I'm working with or files as a reference. So it can reference the code and I don't have to put as many examples in. Hard code as many examples in the prompt. So that is one way I use it for general knowledge of give me options on this or generally tell me how this works. Don't give me examples, in particular examples, because I just want to see generally how you might do this. And that kind of leaves the decision up to me. But the newer feature that GitHub Copilot has is the ability to edit your code. And so I use that when I'm very sure about exactly how I want to do something in my code. I know that this is the way it should be done. And frankly, I'm lazy. I don't want to sit there and have to type all this out or maybe reference how the syntax for this would look or that way. And if you're working with JavaScript in particular, there's probably a half a dozen ways to write any one piece of code. And so in that case, when it's very particular, I know exactly how I want to do something, the edits are usually great. Now, I have to double check those, but it's convenient because GitHub will actually take my file that I'm working in and it will make those edits for me. And then of course, VS Code does a great job of showing you the red that was removed with versus the green that was added. So reviewing the edits that Copilot made is straightforward and simple. I use Copilot all the time. I love it. I will mention as far as ChatGPT, I don't lean on that as much as Copilot, but I have extensive experience working with the OpenAI API. And so a personal project I'm working on right now, which kind of brings me to my next part of this proposal, is talking about the experience I have. I'm working on a personal project that leans into OpenAI's API and some of the Azure APIs extensively to provide real-time voice surveys. And this is pretty cool. This is newer technology because we're not running through multiple processes to convert the audio to text and text to audio and vice versa. This is audio to audio. Transcriptions are provided. So I can speak to the AI and it speaks back to me very rapidly. And so this is a newer API that OpenAI has, and I'm working on that. And another piece of that personal project is relying heavily on the Stripe APIs for helping users purchase these surveys that they can create. And so that is the most recent project that's built 100% on Rails, JavaScript, the Stripe API, and OpenAI APIs. I've been working on that project personally for about 2 months, in addition to working a little bit part-time with some side work on Upwork. I have 100% job completion status. I'm a top rated talent on Upwork. I have those badges, and I'm a vetted expert through Upwork. You can look at my profile and see the reviews I have. I'm very, very client focused. I'm very, very what you need is what I'm going to provide. I'm flexible. And so I will mention one last piece of experience. The prior job before Upwork, I worked for Kyndryl, which was previously IBM. I worked for them for a little over 2 years. They had incredibly complex Rails and React code bases. And the requirement to get up to speed very quickly was a necessity. And so I have a lot of experience working with very complex, they were offering global SaaS cloud products. And so I would often have to get up to speed on multiple code bases and figure out how they were communicating together through Kubernetes, and make the code work. Sometimes cleaning up, sometimes creating tests, sometimes adding new features. So that was something I did extensively for Kyndryl. And so I'm very sure that getting into your code base, figuring out the intricacies of the complexities and understanding your code base and being able to produce really clean, well-working, well-tested code is something that's right up my alley. Finally, you asked for my availability. So one of the biggest reasons I'm applying for this job is that it is a contractor position for 15 hours a week. That sounds perfect to me. I have a few clients I get a little bit of work from here and there through Upwork. I have some personal projects that bring in a little bit of income, but I want something where I'm working exclusively with a client that is Rails and React and Stripe focused. So to me, that's perfect. I am Eastern Standard Time, based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm available outside of the typical work hours as well. For Kyndryl, I worked with teams in India, so I'd often wake up at 5 a.m. my time to get in touch with those teams and work with them for a few hours in the morning. So I'm flexible there. 15 hours is great. More or less is also fine. So again, thank you for watching this video, and please reach out to me if you're interested in pursuing any conversations about my experience or learning a little bit more about what I can offer you. Thank you. Have a great day.